Hello, I'm Orhan Gaybov. You're watching AzTV News. The Milli Meclis Printing House has started printing ballot papers for the early presidential elections scheduled for 7 February. The chairman of the Central Election Commission, Mezahir Pənahov, viewed the printing process. It was noted that the requirements of the Electoral Code, which are important for the independent and free exercise of the electoral rights of voters, were observed in the production and printing of ballot papers. The process of printing ballot papers is open to all interested parties participating in the elections, international organizations, election observation missions, and media representatives.
The number of international observers will be increased. As previously stated, there will be approximately 64,000 observers. On average, 10 observers will be accredited for each of the 600-400 stations. Transparency will not be an issue with the presence of observers, media and cameras. These are the three most important factors. The process of checking web cameras has already begun, and I'm confident that it will be completed before voting begins.
Speaker of the Milli Meclis, Sahibə Qafarova, met with the visiting delegation led by Akmal Saidov, the first deputy speaker of the Legislative Chamber of the Supreme Assembly of Uzbekistan. Stating that the visit will contribute to the development of our relations, the chair of the Milli Meclis spoke about the dynamic development of cooperation between Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan in the political, economic, cultural and humanitarian fields. Sahibə Qafarova noted that Uzbekistan always supported the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. It was specially emphasized that the school built by Uzbekistan in the Fizuli district, liberated from the occupation after the victory in the 44-day patriotic war, is an example of the kinship between our peoples and states. Speaking about the extraordinary presidential elections to be held on February 7, the chair said that this is the first time in the history of Azerbaijan's modern statehood that elections will be held in all territories of the country, including cities and villages liberated from the occupation. Akmal Saidov noted that the development of relations between our countries in all areas is a source of satisfaction. He said that Uzbekistan used Azerbaijan's experience in this field in 2018 during the constitutional reforms held last year and emphasized the importance of mutual exchange of experience. With the law signed by President Ilham Aliyev dated December 30, 2023, and which entered in force on January 19, 2024, Articles 281.1 and 284.2 were added to the Criminal Code. In accordance with Article 281.1 of the Criminal Code, criminal liability is envisaged for the production, acquisition, storage, transportation, or wearing for the purpose of demonstrating, distributing attributes or symbols aimed at violating the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. These acts are punishable by imprisonment for up to 5 years. Committing these actions on behalf of foreign organizations and their representatives is punishable by imprisonment for a term of 7 to 12 years. The new Article 284.2 of the Criminal Code provides for criminal liability for the dissemination of information about the movement and deployment of personnel, weapons, ammunition, or military equipment of the Azerbaijani armed force in wartime or in combat conditions. Those who commit these acts face a penalty of imprisonment for a term of 3 to 6 years, and in case of grave consequences, imprisonment for a term of 5 to 8 years. The preliminary investigation of these crimes is entrusted to the State Security Service. Preparation process for the new training period continue in Azerbaijan's army types of troops, army corps, formations and military units. Drill reviews are held, material and educational bases, training camps, military equipment and weapons as well as personnel's provision are inspected in military units. Moreover, the implementation of the requirements of the guideline and other regulatory documents as well as the availability and usage of teaching aids are checked. The results of a business survey conducted by the International Trade Center as part of the Eastern Partnership Trade Support Service platform initiative EU for Business by the European Union have been published. The center identified non-tariff barriers to trade in Azerbaijan through the survey, and participants engaged in interactive roundtable discussions on the findings. UN resident coordinator Vladanka Andreeva highlighted the significance of removing trade barriers and exploring new opportunities. The project's importance in terms of import support was also acknowledged. For the first time since the pandemic, the number of tourists visiting the country in a year exceeded 2 million. Last year, 2,085,000 people visited Azerbaijan. Changes have also been recorded in the geography of origin of tourists. In 2023, the number of arrivals from China increased by 6.5 times, from South Korea by 3.3 times, from Turkmenistan by 2.3 times, from India by 1.9 times, and by the same number from Kazakhstan. The largest number of tourist trips come from neighboring countries. Russia accounts for 30% of arrivals, Turkey 18.1%, Iran 7.9%. The subsequent places were shared by India and Georgia. It should be noted that tourism is the area that brings the most foreign currency into the country after the energy sector. A year before the pandemic, in 2019, more than 3 million tourists visited Azerbaijan, who spent about $2.6 billion in the country. You can get in touch with us by contacting AzTV hotline number 051 511 1956, through which you can report events you encountered as well as share suggestions and remarks. You can also contact us via our WhatsApp and Telegram account. That was all for the day. Thanks for being with us, and goodbye.